Welcome back. Another episode of Dynasty Theory. I'm John Bauer. Find me on X at the Bauer Club. We got Dan Lamagna at Coach Dan Dynasty and Mitch Sorensen at Dino MC. Boys, keep it clean tonight. We got Monkey's son watching here. Monkey Pack watching with my son tonight. It's his first year in fantasy football. School him up, guys. School him up. Yeah, Monkey, I got to keep an eye on these two because you never know when they're going to go off the rails. I would never do it. Speaking of off the rails, Dan, it's time for apparently everybody's favorite segment. Everybody loved it last week. So this is Coach Dan's 2-minute drill. Dan, go.
Week 9 in the books, boys. Week 10, do what you want with these Nuggets. Here we go. By Seattle Seahawks passing game. Darnold, JSN, Shaheed, Horton, Barner, Arroyo. I believe in them all. This is getting fun in Seattle. Maybe the Vikings really had a plan once healthy. I think J.J. McCarthy will be all right. Bump him up. Patriots, Booty has a hammy. Pop Douglas on the cheap. Tucker Kraft, ACL. If there's no quarterbacks on your waivers, this week's fab goes to Luke Musgrave. Kyron Williams and Blake Corum, a true 1-2 for the passing first Rams. Kincaid, Loveland, and Bowers, oh my, you need to buy. For our rosters that are underperforming, it's time to start thinking 101 and Jeremiah Love. For our contenders here in Week 10, back to football in London, Sunday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, Falcons versus Colts. Our Bengals, Chiefs, Titans, and thankfully my Cowboys are on a bye. Kevin Stefanski giving up play calling duties in Cleveland to Tommy Rees. Now, Stefanski gave up play calling duty last year as well. Will that change things? I'm getting a little more concerned about the dysfunction in Cleveland. Trade deadline moves 7, most today since 1990. Hopefully we get that from our dynasty leagues as we approach our deadlines coming up. Trey Tucker gets bumped up, but make no mistake, Brock Bowers is the tight end number 1 in Vegas despite Jacoby Myers going to the Jags. Probably a wide receiver 2A maybe. Parker Washington almost had a boost. Sauce Gardner to the Colts should give the Colts offense some more snaps as secondary was an issue there. A.D. Mitchell to the Jets, that feels like a good dart throw to me. Backup quarterback watch, be aware in Houston, probably a week of Davis Mills, Mariota time in Washington. Mitch and I have been longtime Kyler Murray doubters on Dynasty Theory. I stamp a vote for Brissett the rest of the way. But what will the Cards do with Kyler Murray? I think it's time for us to dump him.
Just in time. Now, speaking of just in time, I think there was an 8th trade that went through, like at the buzzer. You mentioned 7 trades today. I think it may have been 8.
I think it was 6, and then the buzzer one was 7. But this was the middle of a work day, so you may be right, JB. It was that there definitely was the buzzer beater one there, which was the lineman. To refresh my memory, here was a team that needed an offensive lineman. Penning to
the Chargers.
The Chargers.
Yep.
That's a savior there because I'm really getting a little worried about the Chargers because they just cannot keep that line healthy. And when they get guys back, boy, it could look really good, but they've struggled with that.
Can I just say real quick?
8 trades today. 8 trades. Not that I had to know that I was right, but anyway, Mitch, over to you.
Thank God Kyler's benched. I mean, he's not really benched. It's an injury, whatever you want to call it. But thank God. Kyler, he scores points well as a fantasy quarterback, and that's fine. But he absolutely kills the passing talent around him. He just does. You know, we talked about it before the season too, where he only had 2 1,000-yard wide receivers in a 6-year career. He wasn't going to be able to produce any of them this season. So thankfully, the weird thing is Jacoby Brissett has been passed around through so many teams. But with this defense, with this skill set of pass catchers around him, I really wanted to put in the show notes this week, hey, go buy Marvin Harrison. But up until 6 hours ago, we thought Kyler was going to come back in, and I could not tell one person to go out there hey, buy Marvin Harrison because Kyler kills him. Kyler, in the last 3 games, Trey McBride has 4 touchdowns. He had 3 touchdowns the whole time Kyler Murray was his quarterback. It's insane how not good Kyler is at elevating the talent around him. Besides in the rushing game. The rushing game's always been fine. So I'm happy that now we could go out and be dude, before playoffs start, go buy Trey McBride. You could even go out and get Michael Wilson. He is like a playable flex asset now to when Kyler Murray starts. It's hard to play any of these guys outside of Trey McBride.
Dan, I mean, now that we're talking about Kyler Murray, let's get into it for a second before we get over to our first guy that we were going to talk about. Are you buying into kind of the thought that a lot of people have that it's kind of a soft benching and it's, we're evaluating now. I'm seeing 6 to 8 weeks overall for the injury. Like, do you genuinely think that Kyler takes over this quarterback room once again, once he is quote unquote healthy?
It has a Justin Fields feel to it. I think, Mitch and I, we were really watching this one closely, and to everything Mitch said, for Marvin Harrison and Trey McBride, we're excited for, was the report today 4 to 5 weeks, 4 to 5, 6 to 8. I'm not sure what the final total is there, but that's encouraging for this year. But the problem with Jacoby Brissett, like, man, he's one of the better backups out there. Mm-hmm. He's good for Harrison and McBride, but we know he's not the long-term answer for the Cardinals. Like, he still has deficiencies in his game to carry a team over the course of a year. It's kind of like a relief pitcher going to the starting rotation. He just can't start over the course of a full season and take that team to the next level. So the concern is, how do the Cardinals get out of Kyler Murray is the problem. So JB, yes, I think it's kind of a soft benching, because I think at some point they may be forced to go to Kyler Murray because they may not have the answers, because I don't think Jacoby Brissett could sustain beyond this year as a starting quarterback. So great for now. I think Brissett's going to help some teams for a few weeks through this bye week schedule here. And then long term, I mean, I do think it's enough to get out of Kyler Murray, right? I mean, I don't want to go along this roller coaster ride. I want solid and steady on my dynasty roster.
Yeah, then Jacoby Brissett, he's under contract next year as well. So depending on how things shake out, he's one of those quarterbacks where he may very well have an opportunity to start in 2026 if they move on from Kyler Murray. So the way I'm approaching Jacoby Brissett is, if I'm not contending, like, I'm not just giving Jacoby away, because I do believe there is a little bit more than stopgap potential there. But again, Dan, you said it, Jacoby Brissett, he's one of those guys that is just a very good backup in the NFL. Is he really going to take a team to that next level? Probably not. And I kind of view him and Mac Jones very similarly, where Mac Jones, I think he's played himself into a situation where he could land in a starting spot next year outside of San Francisco, because we've seen how shaky this incoming quarterback class looks right now. And there are a lot of question marks just with the quarterback carousel as we look at it year in and year out. And I mean, it's at the point now, it's almost week in and week out. But I just wanted to give my thoughts there on those two guys, and the way, well, they're starting, let's dump them now. I don't just want to give those two guys away.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Brissett's had chances before, and he's shown he could be a good backup. He could pinch hit for a few games, but he's also shown he can't sustain anywhere. I mean, New England, Indianapolis, Miami, Cleveland, Washington, New England again, and now Arizona. So we'll see long term.
And I know, Dan, you mentioned, hey, we could get out from Kyler Murray if he starts again this year. But the comment from Nick here, there are going to be opportunities and there's going to be openings for Kyler Murray. In jest, I said, hey, he could go pair back up with Cliff Kingsbury after Jayden Daniels gets hurt another 15 times. So Nick's saying the Saints, the Raiders, maybe Cleveland. So there are going to be opportunities there.
I think if you could sell Murray, in my one league this week, I saw Murray and Tez Johnson go for Daniel Jones. And I was like, oh man, I think that's a good out of Kyler Murray there. I think Indiana Jones has secured himself for a few years.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be, I wish the stuff on Jacoby and Kyler came out a little bit earlier, because we could have spent a little bit more time on it, even though we did spend a few minutes on it, more than we thought.
Just 8.
But over to Jayden Daniels here. So we have the injury, the arm injury. It looked gruesome, like when you saw the replay of it. And we know how we typically like to react. And go about these situations whenever a higher end quarterback goes down? How many times do I have to say, like, we've talked with Joe Burrow, high end wide receivers. We talked about it with Malik Neighbors. So you kind of have a feel, if you've watched Dynasty Theory before, of how we go about these types of situations. Do we find the stopgap options? Do we invest low? If there's a buy low opportunity in a player like Jayden Daniels, Mitch, you're a contender, you're a rebuilding team. I know you sent a DM where you made a trade to acquire Jayden Daniels, but before we get into the actual trades and the situation of contender rebuild, how far have you adjusted in your imaginary rankings that are in your head right now?
I haven't dropped him at all. I mean, really, because he is who he is. And now I keep trying to remind everybody in the DD Discord, please join up, Patreon, all gas. We talk in there all day, every day. But we are literally like 6 weeks away from all of these values we're talking about rebounding for all of these injured guys. So if you have Daniels, you want to make that playoff push, and let's just say you end up finishing 4th because of playoff bad luck happens. It happened. I've had many bye teams that I thought was the best team in the league. I get the bye and I lose that first round because something happens in the NFL that week. You know what I mean? And so it's, for me, I haven't dropped him at all because this is a 6 week thing, and he'll be right back up to where he was. And I guarantee I'm going to be able to get a lot more for him than what I can right now.
Yeah, the big price difference for me, I went through, I think I have 9 shares of Jayden Daniels. I haven't really explored opportunities to move him because in a lot of the situations where I have him, they're not contenders.
So, I was just saying real quick. So what I did today is I went through all of my teams that I wasn't contending on. I was a rebuilder, and I wanted to send out an offer to get Daniels. The problem is the vast majority of teams, Daniels hasn't been helping them win, and he is such a huge asset on their team that when he's not producing, the rest of the team isn't able to make it up because how much the cost was to get him on your team unless you drafted him a couple of years ago. And so for me, I sent up probably 8 offers out of 50 dynasty leagues that I have. I had 1 accept, but really what happens is I had people pissed off. They were like, I will not trade Jayden Daniels for what you just offered me. And, I was trying to do the Goff plus something, Dak plus something, but everyone's like, well, no, if someone did a startup this season, he was the 2nd overall quarterback. They're not going to change that value. And I completely get it. But I mean, people are still going to send those offers. So for me, I completely understand people still having that really high value on him. But like you were saying, John, if you're on a rebuilder, why would you move him? There's absolutely no reason to.
There was a group of guys a couple weeks ago. They put out an episode on top 24 dynasty assets, and there was some jackass. I don't remember who it was. I don't know who the content creator was, but they still had Jayden Daniels like in the top 4 or something. And I can't remember who it was offhand, but I think if he now had the opportunity to do it again, he wouldn't. Just I'm not too close to the gentleman, but yeah. So Dan, the Jayden Daniels trade market, you said that you have been blasting out offers left and right. Maybe not specifically for Jayden Daniels, but it's always interesting when a player like him goes down. A dynasty manager such as yourself, and this is not a slight or said in jest whatsoever, but you typically do gravitate more towards, I want to contend. So do you even explore opportunities, or do you kind of just sit there and just say, I'm okay, which is always okay to do?
Yeah, I don't want to take myself out of contention. As tempting as getting a Jayden Daniels is, I think Mitch gave good perspective, and this is a 5-week season now. Like, holy cow, Mitch! I don't even think I realized that till just now. It's flying by here. Now, I do have one roster that does have Daniels, and they're 6-3, and I've got to make a decision now because I've got Prescott and I've got no number 3 behind them. So in this 5-week season, it could really go to you know what. I can go from in the playoffs to out of the playoffs potentially. So I got to take a little harder look at that this evening, kind of see what my options are. But I guess overall, JB, I mean, if I'm a contender, I need to either have a 3 quarterback build or, there's maybe a few quarterbacks I would rather have than Daniels. One that was a little controversial that we talked about in a recent episode was Drake May. Hey, I would love to get May and not feel any remorse there if someone's really
you're going to have to add to Jayden right now. You're going to have to add to
probably,
Jayden.
But there's some Daniels truthers out there, So that's my stance.
All right, so getting into some of the Jayden Daniels trades, and let me know, folks watching, if this is large enough behind us here. So first trade up, 12 teams, start 10, full PPR. You get an extra point for tight ends. Mitch, I want to start with you. Jayden Daniels or Sam Darnold in a 26 first?
Are we contending or are we rebuilding? Because that's somewhat important for some of these. Like with this one, I would have to think I was a top 2 team because Sam Darnold just doesn't give you that rushing upside, and he'll never give it to you. So
he doesn't, but if you're getting 6 points for passing touchdowns, with a lot of our leagues
it is. And if you think Sam Darnold's going to keep it up, without a doubt. I mean, I'm going to take Jayden Daniels just in the vast majority of these.
And this, honestly, this may have been a trade that came from one of the DD Fantasy Football Discord members, because that was a conversation
about it.
There were Baker in a first for Jayden. There was a conversation, Sam Darnold in a first for Jayden. It's interesting to me, though, because if I am acquiring Jayden Daniels and you have someone else that's moving him, you have the assumption in your mind that if you're acquiring, you're probably not contending. Again, there are situations where that may not be the case. So why would you move your 26 first, assuming that might be somebody else's 26 first? If you're acquiring the Darnold side, it's nice to pair that with the pick because you're getting some insulated value, you're getting some additional flexibility, but you would think maybe you would look for another piece, and maybe it's not possible, which could be the case, but you'd be looking for another piece that could help you down that journey of contending. So the structure of these trades are very interesting to me. When you pair a producing quarterback with a pick, and then you're acquiring Jayden Daniels. Have we actually seen, has there been a full-blown, thought? I haven't seen it on how long Jayden Daniels is going to be out.
No. All that I've heard is it doesn't look like it's that bad, but I haven't heard weeks yet. Have you, Dan?
Yeah, I heard it wasn't as severe as they initially thought. I think I think the problem is he may come back later this season. It's his non-throwing arm, and it's not as bad as they thought.
But if they continue losing, why bring him back?
Why bring him back? So you're probably losing him for the year. So question here, and I think on the Darnold in the first, it would depend on my team situation there specifically. If I needed it to win and I needed Darnold, and you're going to give me a first, I might. It depends on some variables there. But question for you, I was telling you about my league where, and maybe our chat could even chime in on this, the team that has Drake May is toast. They had a terrible season, so they don't want the points on their roster, right? They're collecting picks there. And I've traded my first to second in this league. Surprise. I've got a really good roster. Do you think I could get May for Daniels when he doesn't, when he's already looking at next year?
No.
Am I in that league?
Champions Series 1? I don't think so.
No, the only reason I asked because I was going to pull it up on Dynasty Daddy and look at some rosters there. No, you're going to have to add.
Daniels in a third for
I'm going to be honest. So I had Drake May. We all know my love affair for Drake May, though. Yeah. So another Discord member had Jayden Daniels on their team. So I may have said, hey, you could have my Drake May, but I'm going to need 2 extra first on top of Daniels. And he was like, that was too much. I'm like, it was. Without a doubt, it was. I'm like, but it would take at least a first on top for me to move Daniels for May right now.
I hope this guy in the league isn't watching the show, all right? You're not helping my cause here.
So let us
got to give extra with Daniels is what we're saying. I hear you.
This is going to be a hot topic, throughout all of the Discord community, throughout all of the shows from all of the content creators here at DD Fantasy Football. So let us know You have Drake May. You're not contending. What do you need on top of Jayden Daniels? Is it the third that Dan is trying to pawn off on this poor manager? Or is it the 24 first round picks that Mitch is saying he needs added? Like there's that middle ground there. So let us know if you're watching live. Let us know in the comments if you're listening back.
Okay, let's go.
I don't have it first. I'm gonna have to add some players, but go ahead. Keep going, JB.
Sean says, I think a second is fair.
Not getting my way for that.
All right. What about this one? Jayden Daniels for Luther Burden and Caleb Williams, 12 team start 10 full PPR.
Look, if Caleb can play the Cowboys defense and the Bengals defense every single week, I want Caleb. I want Jayden Daniels. I just don't have any faith in Caleb against really good defenses yet. And maybe that changes because he does look like he's improving.
Same. And we haven't seen enough from Luther Burden to say he's going to be something. A little flash here and there, but he hasn't really been available.
D-Walk, I understand the frustration. I get it. And it sounds like you have been hurt in the past. Was it a Lamar Jackson injury? Because I know there have been some fantasy playoffs where Lamar wasn't available. If you're listening back and you're not watching on YouTube, the comment from D-Walk, oh, surprise, another cheat code rushing quarterback injured and not available for the fantasy playoffs. ... Again. And then Guy says Burrow enters the chat. Mitch Trade from Anahola here.
Yep.
And this is for you.
Yep.
May for Jayden Daniels and Cam Scatterby.
I'm going to need more than Cam Scatterby.
Really?
I love me some Scatterby. Look, so real quick.
His May love is stronger.
Okay, we're going to spend just a little bit more time on Jayden Daniels. Here's the thing. Drake May, EPA per play, 4th in the league. Absolute stud. Jayden Daniels, 25th in the league. Success rate. Let's go. Drake May, 7th in the league. Let me keep scrolling down. We got Jayden Daniels at 16th. It's just, he hasn't been really good this year. And yes, his pass catchers haven't been there. We talked about that 2 weeks ago. That's definitely the case. Terry McLaurin not being on the field isn't helping him. But at the same time, like when you're comparing him straight up to Drake May, and that's what we're doing right now, Drake May doesn't have a Terry McLaurin on his team. And he is still doing it with like the corpse of Diggs out there. And so when I'm comparing the two, I'm going to compare the one that I think is just the overall better quarterback.
I get it. And we'll rapid fire through a few of the trades here. Hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Again, I know for the most part people are, but we still get people that trickle in that aren't subscribed. Hit the subscribe button and drop the like for us. It does help us out. Jayden Daniels for JJ McCarthy and Joe Flacco. Oh, and there's a 26th third with Jayden Daniels.
That's way too late, Daniels.
Daniels by a lot.
All right. Mitch, we try to get something done, similar concept here. Jayden Daniels and a 26 second or Patrick Mahomes and a 4th. 12 team start 11 full PPR.
If I need to win.
If it's 6 points for touchdowns, I'll take Mahomes.
Same.
I would take Mahomes there at any situation, I think, which is crazy to think about because we were, the Dynasty community, I don't think people were moving Jayden Daniels during the offseason for Mahomes plus a first.
No.
And then Kugski, 100%, whatever you want to call it, the injury tax, the contender tax, it is real. It is there. One more Jayden Daniels trade.
While you're looking that up, like, what am I missing in Washington? Are they in salary cap, like, in a bad place or something? Like, between their offseason and the trade deadline to not do anything? Well, I guess now the trade deadline, forget about it because Daniels got hurt. But, like, get this guy some weapons. Like, 1 year from now, we may be loving Jayden Daniels because he can run and he's going to have good wide receivers. I feel bad for him.
Yeah, I was pretty convinced they had, like, the worst offseason of any contending team out there. I just thought they did absolutely nothing to help him.
You've bashed them a few times. Last one here, and this is for a package not centered around a quarterback coming back. which makes sense if your roster is constructed with multiple quarterbacks and you have the luxury of moving Jayden Daniels and Tej Johnson for Tet McMillan in a 26 first, 12 team start 10 half PPR.
I love T-Mac. Love T-Mac. That is not enough for me to move Daniels.
Same.
And I don't think he's really helping you contend this year. So maybe you do have extra quarterbacks, but for me, that trade doesn't make a lot of sense.
I understand that. I get that. Yeah, I would go Daniels there still. Kugski says Washington is the oldest team and they doubled down by getting Debo. Yeah. And Debo had that little stretch, right? He had that little stretch early, and now it just seems like nothing can really work out, and there's injuries are piling up there in Washington. And again, I hope. Oh, Mitch.
I was going to say, Dan, real quick to answer your question, they have $25 million in cap space, and in 26, they're projected to have $84 million in cap space. So,
what's the plan? Maybe it's next year, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
Back with Dynasty Bob, or are we saying goodbye to these players here? We have 4 that we're going to talk about tonight, and one's going to have like a bonus player attached. Mm-hmm. But first up, Daniel Jones. He is currently Dynasty Daddy ranking quarterback 17. Mitch, is he reverting back to the pumpkin that is Daniel Jones, the one we know from the New York Giants? He had a rough go against the Pittsburgh Steelers, but as long as you weren't in like a -4 interception league, he still put up 7 fantasy points.
Yeah, he still threw for like 340 yards and a touchdown. He just had some really stupid interceptions, which happens. No, so we see there was a comment in the chat earlier about, let's see if I could find it. It was Daniel Jones or playoff 26 first. I can't find it to pull it up. But that's been a lot of talk in the Discord too. A lot in the Heisman chat. People are asking, hey, do I move Jones for a first? For me, going back 3 weeks ago at this point, I need a plus on top of that first now. I think he is set in stone, quarterback this year, next year. We see how they're building that team up. That defense is going to be solid. They're going to continue to be in games. He doesn't have to go full hero mode a lot. So for me, I love Daniel Jones. I think he's just as good of a buy as Jared Goff has been recently. And so in that view, I really, really like him. And say someone gives me a 26 first and maybe a very early second, I could see moving off of that draft pick value.
And not only, we talked about, Dan mentioned in his little 2-minute drill, some of the NFL trades that took place in the fantasy relevance. One that wasn't really a fantasy player, but the Sauce Gardner trade, they liquidated their first round picks. And the belief was, at least from my perspective, I think there's still some doubters. Is Daniel Jones going to be extended? I think this all but tells you they're not going to be in the quarterback market, especially from a rookie perspective. And you see how well this team has performed. I think it would be foolish not to extend Daniel Jones. And I think this puts the nail in that coffin that is going to happen there. So Daniel Jones, buying or saying goodbye?
I'm buying because he's moved up to that like middle tier of my quarterbacks where, hey, if he's going to have some job security with his contract, he's on a team that's got weapons around and is investing in him. Like, he has what you need. He's not in that category of the Kyler Murray, of the Tua situation where the team might blow up, the Justin Fields situation. He's in a real nice situation on a really good team. And I think what's important for listeners to understand too is it is very hard to replace your quarterback. Like there's such limited options. It doesn't really show up often in free agency. It doesn't. 1 or 2 draft quarterbacks, and even this draft class they're saying it's worse than Cam Ward maybe. So where do you replace Daniel Jones? I don't think the Colts could do that if they wanted to for another 3-4 years or so. So I think it's a really good situation, and for that reason, I'm buying.
So we already talked about it, but Daniel Jones for a 26 first, 12 teams, start 11 full PPR. Even if I have the luxury of the additional quarterbacks on my roster, that would need to be, honestly, an early to mid first. I wouldn't move for a late first.
Yeah, I want Daniel Jones. I'm contending that first is leaving my roster. If I have a quarterback situation that has a volatile situation where he may not be a starter next year, I want Daniel Jones to secure next year as well.
Bill, Kyle Monangai, a 27 second and a 26 third for Daniel Jones and Harold Fannin, 12 team start 11 full PPR, half point tight end premium. More than anything, this just shows you that there's still people that are not fully bought in on Daniel Jones, and they're saying like, hey, the clock's ticking on him. So I don't know.
Daniel Jones for me.
Yep. Yeah, I get Jones there. I'm DMing both of you guys celebrating.
Yeah, exactly.
Just looking at some of the comments as I typically do. Mr. Jackson, what's going on? From Henman, and this is going back a minute, but I didn't want to ignore it. On the Jayden Daniels versus May topic, a second on top is fair if the season ended tomorrow, but if you're doing that swap, you're hurting the May manager's chance to win so much, you need to pay more. So
in my scenario, the May manager had zero chance to win. So
don't need to worry about that. The less points, the better.
All right, 12 team, start 10 full PPR, Chase Brown in a 26 third or Daniel Jones.
Daniel
Mitch.
Jones.
Indiana Jones, baby.
Daniel Jones or Xavier Worthy?
Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones. Man, these are all 1 day ago trades, too. Coming off that performance, they get a little shook, huh?
So we have two trades here showing the 27 first round picker, Daniel Jones, two different leagues. One's a tight end premium, one is not. This one is closer for me. And again, it comes down to, yes, we've talked about the strength of the 26 versus 27 classes. And from a time value standpoint, you have to wait a little bit longer, but you have a larger market. And if it's that 26 first, it's probably a playoff first and mid to late in most situations, whereas 27 first, it gives us additional time for there to be more variance. So I think that is closer than the 26 first.
I agree. I think it's spot on value because if you look at the team, you're like, you know what? I don't really trust that manager to compete in 27. And you're telling me it's like the 107 in the 27 draft? Oh, absolute smash for me.
Sam Darnold or Daniel Jones, straight up.
That's.
I have Darnold one spot ahead of Jones in my rankings.
I think that's where I would be too, to be honest. Yeah.
I was going to say, is it crazy to maybe prefer Darnold, even though I love Jones? But
I think one benefit of Jones is the Jonathan Taylor factor. And that offense is producing the points and it takes the pressure off because you really have to worry about Jonathan Taylor. Seattle run game hasn't been so fabulous, right? We haven't gotten what we wanted out of Kenneth Walker. We're back and forth between Walker and Charbonnet, but man, that passing game looks sharp. And then you just add Shaheed.
Like, look, again, it's kind of my argument with the Jayden Daniels situation from a few weeks ago, but with Sam Darnold, look at what he's doing with, you have the stud in JSN, but outside of that, Torrey Horton, he's making plays. And then you have
AJ Barner. Don't forget about AJ Barner.
AJ
legit,
Barner,
man.
Elijah Arroyo. Yeah. Like Sam Darnold, he is earning every single penny out there in Seattle. And there's no doubt about that. So I think like this range in the Dynasty rankings, wherever you look at your rankings, but I think Sam Darnold, I think Daniel Jones, they're kind of going down that Baker Mayfield path, who, as well as Baker plays, he still has that, people are still hesitant for one reason or another. And I think it goes back to how they performed previously. Whereas if they had a different outlook prior, their value would be looking far different here. So overall, I think we're all good with saying bye, Daniel Jones. We're not saying goodbye. Dan, I want to start with you on this one, and I am so interested. Rashee Rice, You always, you are one that doesn't like the off the field issues. Well, what happens whenever that's accompanied by 22 fantasy points per game?
Winning helps. Winning as a coach. I always say winning fixes everything, boys. And he is winning, and he helps your team win. Yes, I do have my off the field issues with certain players, but with Rice, I'm hoping here that he was just shook up, scared, realized his life could have changed. They did an interview, it might have been Romo during one of the broadcasts, saying, hey, learn from his mistakes. He's really counting his blessings. It could have went really wrong, took some ownership in it. We're not hearing any other off the field stuff. So I'm a little bit encouraged of the direction he's going. And man, it's just the way Kansas City uses him. They'll run him, they'll short games down the field. He's the guy there. He is the guy there, and I think he's more durable than the other receivers. So I am no take lock here. I'm showing forgiveness to Rashee Rice, and I am definitely buying Rashee Rice if I could get him, especially the state of the receiver position. I was thinking about it a lot. We were talking, I think, at a past episode of Dynasty Theory, how deep the first round is and how great those receivers are. And guys, man, how quick it kind of changes, right? Like Brian Thomas isn't quite Brian Thomas, and Nico's getting banged up again, and Rome's kind of disappeared, and McConkey's been hot and cold, and Garrett Wilson's gets a little shaky. Tet, we love him, but it's not quite happening in Carolina. So the state of the wide receiver position, even though it's kind of good, it's kind of fragile too. So I love what Rashee Rice gives weekly on your roster.
It's far easier when you're tied to an elite quarterback.
Yes.
As well.
So Mitch, at wide receiver 10 on Dynasty Daddy Dynasty rankings, are you buying or saying goodbye?
This is my thing. I put him on the sheet because wide receiver 10 is way too low. Like ever since he's come back, he's wide receiver 2 overall in fantasy scoring as far as points per game wise. But then I'm like, oh, you got to put him up to Jefferson and Chase. But then I'm like, well, JSN should be there. I'm like, okay, well, he's next. But then you have Puka. Like, all right, well, what about Amon-Ra St. Brown? He's there. It's like, all right. Then he could be above Drake London. And Drake London is an absolute stud as well. So I actually think I came out to where he is ranked. I'm fine with, because I think there's just 10 dominant wide receivers in the league right now, and you could buy into all of them. And if you have multiple of them, even better. So I am more than happy to buy into him at wide receiver 10 price, but I don't think there's a huge price difference between wide receiver 10 and wide receiver 3 right now. I think they're all so close to each other because you can love each of them for whatever reason, that whatever you're paying for wide receiver 3, that's wide receiver 10 cost at this point.
One of my biggest tier breaks, to go the other way with it, one of my biggest tier breaks is actually between Dynasty wide receiver 10 and wide receiver 11.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I completely agree. Yep.
And there is that gap for me. Whereas, like you said, like if you have Jefferson, Lamb, St. Brown, Puka, JSN, like that's great. But should there be a massive gap between them and Rashee Rice at this point in time? I don't know. And I don't think so.
Yeah.
All right. So firing up some Rashee Rice trades here. Dan, I want to start with you all the way through. Would you move your Jamar Chase in a 12 by 10 full PPR 0.75 tight end premium for Chris Olave, Rashee Rice, and Terrence Ferguson?
No, I wouldn't. Well, as long as Jamar Chase has a quarterback, his volume is so insane that I would not do it here. I think I'd rather figure out how to get an Olave or Ferguson somewhere else, and I'd much rather Chase than Rice. So on this one, no. Good deal. It's not one of those terrible deals where I'm shocked it happened in the league. Chase is just elite.
Yeah, I think if you were able to switch out Olave for someone else, let's just say you could go one more tier up, you get a Garrett Wilson, T-Mac, something like that, I think I would buy into it a lot more. It's just that Olave tier is just blah, and so I'll take Chase.
What if it was so you said the tier above? Okay.
Yes.
What about George Pickens?
No.
If it was Rashee Rice and George Pickens,
I
still want
I can't.
Chase.
I know, like, he is a fantasy producer, but every game he does something so stupid that I'm like, why? I don't understand it.
He's still immature, man. Like, there's no doubt. Now Dallas is having a little swoon here on offense, so we're not seeing all the production. I still like Pickens, but again, to give up Jamar Chase, I can't do it.
Need that stud back. Yep.
If that was, I mean, on Fantasy Calc, who is wide receiver 2 right now? Puka. If it was Puka, I would move him for Rice and Olave.
Agreed.
But again, I have that clear break between Jamar Chase and everybody else. A lot of pieces in this one, but let's do it. It's 12 teams, start 12, full PPR, extra 1.5 PPR for tight ends. So you're getting 2.5 PPR for tight ends, Dan. Would you move James Cook, Rashee Rice, and a 26-second, again, 12 by 12, for DK Metcalf, Jawan Johnson, Nico Collins, and Isaiah Likely?
Not a chance. I love James Cook. Love Rashee Rice. The other guys I like. I want to be optimistic with Nico. DK doesn't quite get the volume we like. I mean, he's DK. Those tight ends are meh.
Yeah, you're getting the best 2 players in the deal, and somehow you're getting a pick back as well.
Yeah, so, and a second.
I'm taking that side.
Bonus.
Really quick, because this is a trade that I was trying to get done, didn't amount to anything earlier today. Mitch, what would you have James Cook?
Mm-hmm.
You're not contending.
Mm-hmm.
What would you want added to Kenneth Walker to move your James Cook?
Oh, a lot. Kenneth
I'm
Walker.
on Kenneth Walker, JB.
But that manager's.
I would want, if it's not at least the 106, I'm not interested at all.
So to ask for later 26 first isn't crazy.
No. Well, so you were moving your James Cook.
Yes.
Oh, see, dude. Here's the thing. I was thinking about this earlier, not to go off on another tangent, but James Cook.
This manager came to me asking for James Cook.
Yeah, like, dude, James Cook should be valued around Jonathan Taylor. Like, he just should. He is that good. He's just not talked about as much as the other guys are. Dude's an absolute stud. Like, he was by far my biggest miss this past offseason. Like, it was just a huge mistake to not believe he could do it again.
We talk about receivers being married.
Guilty of that.
Yeah. We talk about receivers being married to the quarterback, JB. I think it's the same thing with James Cook. He's married to Josh Allen. He got his contract extension. It's a winning team. It's going to stay a winning team. Love James Cook.
Yeah, I think the offer I went back with all the pieces, I think it was my James Cook and David Montgomery for Kenneth Walker, presumably late 26 first, and a pair of 26 seconds. And it was.
I don't think I would have moved Cook for that, to be honest.
Well, and the response was like very, very respectfully, but just not close. So I wanted to get. No, the dude wasn't an a-hole at all.
That's good.
All right, Rashee Rice and Patrick Mahomes, or Sam Darnold, Puka Nacua, and a 27 first, 12 by 12 half PPR. This is a fun one.
This is a good one. I'd be curious what that team is with that 27 first, but now they're getting Mahomes and Rice. So they're going to be, I would think they'd be a contender. I'm gonna stay with the Kansas City, man. The Kansas City side there with Mahomes and Rashee. Love Puka. A little bit of durability concerns. As we said, we like Darnold, but there's still a difference between that middle. I mean, he's climbing, but yeah, give me Mahomes and Rice, and that's a close one though.
I think it's like spot on.
If that was a 26 first, Mahomes, without a doubt. 27 first, I'm gonna go Darnold because I just want as many 27 firsts as I could possibly get.
All right, let's rapid fire through these two to move on to the next player. Dan, T. Higgins, a 26 third and a 27 first, or Rashee Rice?
I'll go Higgins in the draft picks. Good deal.
A good deal. I'll take Rice on that one.
I agree. And then Rashee Rice or Quentin Johnston, a 27 first and a 26 first, 12 by 10 full PPR. That's too much for me to move. I would take the package.
Yeah, I like the package as well.
Yep, package.
All right. Moving on here.
Good deals.
So this I teased we had 4 players to talk about, but a little bonus player. So are we buying or saying goodbye to Travis Hunter? And then the Jaguars acquired Jacoby Myers, who I think is a very good wide receiver. Will it translate for fantasy purposes? Well, it doesn't happen often when a wide receiver is moved mid-season, but there is opportunity there in Jacksonville as long as Trevor Lawrence can make things work. So, Mitch, Travis Hunter, Dynasty Daddy ranking wide receiver 20. The Jags paid a 4th and 6th to bring Jacoby Myers in, just for additional context. But how are you viewing Travis Hunter? And then we'll get to some trades.
Yeah, Travis Hunter has been like that guy during the off season. You're going to have a take on. You're probably going to be right. You're probably going to be wrong. And still, I don't know what to do with him because, like the last 2 games before he was injured, he was looking great. The previous games before that, you couldn't start him. And so maybe he was turning it on. Maybe it just happened to be who he was playing, how they were playing against him. They were more worried about Brian Thomas Jr. It's just those 2-game sample sizes are so hard. And the amount that people paid to have Travis Hunter on their roster.
Dan.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if they're willing to move him at that wide receiver 20 price. And I'm not even willing to pay that wide receiver 20 price right now. So I think it's definitely one of those two where the people with Travis Hunter, they're probably not moving him because they put so much into him. And he was like, what, wide receiver probably 15 before. You tell me wide receiver 25-ish, I could probably buy into it. But right now, I just can't pay that price. And probably the plus I'm going to have to add on to that value in order to get him.
Dan, you were extremely high on Travis Hunter. Where should he be valued today after this knee injury?
Just reading this here first. You try to get a 26 top.
So this is from Rock Carter. For Hunter, I tried to get a top 5 pick in 26, got offered a late 26 first and couldn't pull the trigger. And that was actually in the Heisman chat the other day. We had a discussion centered around that. And I said, a late 26 first, I would still take Hunter for a late 26 first.
Yeah.
Now we get into that 27 first with a little bit more variance, the different conversation.
I think that's the key there. So Rock Carter's my LeBron James, and I'll be Luka here. All right. He just gave me the assist here for an easy layup. All right. So the guy I'm a little higher than Mitch still. I'd say top 20 versus top 25. The injury we're hearing is not as severe. So because of that, like I'm not panicking on Travis Hunter. We expect him now, I believe, back this season, which is good. I hold firm on NFL scouts saying, hey, it was him and Ashton Genty and then everyone else in last year's draft. We started to see him ascend a little bit. I'm not concerned about Jacoby Myers. I think that just keeps him from having to give De'Ami Brown snaps or whatever. Like, I think if anything, he opens up the best receivers on that team. Brian Thomas is struggling a little bit. I think ultimately Travis Hunter is going to be that team's number one receiver. I just think fantasy owners need to have a little bit more patience because we do have this DB wide receiver experiment, which is a lot for a rookie to learn. And I just think for a fantasy manager, you're going to get more rewards out of it next year. Give him another season in the weight room, another offseason in the playbook. And I believe he is their number one. What's encouraging is Liam Cohen is moving that offense in a good direction. And Jacksonville is a competitive football team. That's something they haven't been able to say in a little while. So I'm in on Travis Hunter still.
Dan, are you worried at all with him playing both sides? And I mean, he is a rookie. This was a practice injury that happened, right? Non-contact things, what it sounded like. Are you worried that him playing both sides could lead to this sort of stuff, just wear and tear? So if you're buying for that price, are you worried that you might not have him for all the games during a season?
I'm definitely worried, and that's where I say I won't be over aggressive. So when I was over aggressive trading for him last offseason, it's because he was kind of at a little bit of a bargain. Like you could obtain him where I wasn't getting Ashton Genty boys, but you could get a Travis Hunter. You know, if I didn't really have the draft capital, I was able to get creative and get myself some Travis Hunter shares. Now it's like, hey, I still want him. I see him as that top 20 receiver potential, but I am nervous, Mitch, and that's where I won't overpay. You guys know when I get on a guy or get on a kick, I'm like, hey, take this first. I'm all in on him. I'm slowing down a little bit on Travis Hunter because I don't want to get burnt, but I do want him on my rosters.
All right, Mitch, we'll start with you on these. Travis Hunter in a 27 fourth, or Wan'Dale Robinson, Jamison Williams in a 27 second, 12 team start 10 full PPR.
Travis Hunter.
See, there you go, Mitch. There's a good Travis Hunter deal. All right. I'm with him. Good deal.
Yeah.
Come on, JB.
No. I 12 by 10. I'm good with that.
No hesitation there.
There's a lot going on there. Marv or Travis Hunter?
Marv.
I like Marv. I love Marv too. As high as I am on Hunter, I've always been that way on Marv as well. Finally, Jacoby Brissett's making things better. I can't believe I'm saying that.
we can say that out loud now.
Was that on your bingo card? I didn't have it on mine.
Not on the bingo card.
Brian Thomas and Jackson Dart.
I love this trade.
Or Jayden Daniels and Travis Hunter. 12 team start 10.
I love this trade because there was a debate in the chat today if you want Jackson Dart or Jayden Daniels.
Straight up.
Huge debate. And I get it. And I get the whole, who's the real wide receiver one with the Jags? Dan, I'll let you answer this one first.
This is a fun one, and it becomes a bit difficult, and I had to really think about it. But I still believe Jayden Daniels is the better quarterback, and Travis Hunter's the better receiver in that deal. So give me the Daniels-Hunter side. But that's a fun trade.
Yeah, I will take that side too.
Travis Hunter or Mitch, you warned me too, and I keep doing it.
Yep.
I keep reading the ones that are behind our big heads here. Travis Hunter or Travis Etienne in a 26 first, 12 team start 10, full PPR. I would take Etienne, but
yeah, it depends on that first. If that's a late first, I want Travis Hunter. But I mean, I've never liked Etienne too. So I just don't care to have him on my teams. But if you're telling me that's the 110, 111, 112, it's a later first, give me Travis Hunter.
Yeah, I think in most scenarios I'm going Hunter as long as that's a late first and I'm not too running back needy.
And then this last one, I don't know what's going on, but Travis Hunter or Drake London and Olamide Zaccheaus.
Drake London by a lot.
I'm smashing Drake
by
London
a little,
there.
a lot.
Not really sure what happened there.
Olamide is just a bonus because it's start 11, but yeah, give me London.
So before we move on to the last player here, Jacoby Myers, stock up or down for him, Mitch?
He's playable now, probably. I don't think he was really playable before. So that's good, but no stock up, stock down, exact same where he was. I'm okay to have him on my roster. I could care less to trade for him.
Yeah, we see him going up on trade bait in our leagues this week, and it hasn't budged me. I have no interest in him. I think if you have him, at least maybe he's a bye week flex, maybe, but because he wasn't doing anything in Vegas, but I'm still out.
Yeah, we always talk about it. Anytime there was a changing situation, you see those trade baits, the trade block flood with, hey, Rashid Shaheed is available. Hey, Jacoby Myers is available. We know they're available. We know. All right, player.
Quick timeout before the last player. Live update. I did send Jayden Daniels in a 3rd and 4th for May. I got an instant response. I love the active owner in the league, and he said he would need more than this to move May. So I got to go back to the drawing board.
Add 2 first. It'll get done.
Do you have a first or a second? That's the problem.
Well, that's.
Do you have with players, boys?
Do you have any other? Well, no. I've seen you get creative with players, and I don't like how creative you get because it's disgusting. I got an offer from Dan.
Somewhere, John. You got to start somewhere.
Nah, that's BS. But I got an offer from Dan earlier today, and I don't think it took more than 10 seconds to reject. Love you,
That's
Dan.
not very nice. Dan hasn't sent me an offer in months. He must hate me. That's fair.
It's all timing. It's all timing, boys. It's all what we have
All
on
right.
the rosters.
To wrap
Back
up
to our
tonight's
player.
show, we're going to talk about the Chargers receiving core again, but now we talk about Ladd McConkey, Dynasty Daddy ranking, wide receiver 16. For the course of the season, 6.52 Trinity score.
Yeah.
Over the last 4 games, 7.52. Over the first 5 games, 5.72. His points per game, first 5 games versus the last 4, nearly doubled from 9.5 to 17.25. Mitch, Ladd McConkey, do you think we now finally have a glimpse of how this receiving core is going to work out? It keeps changing because now Aronde Gadsden is Tony Gonzalez.
Yeah, it comes down to playability for me. When I'm choosing people in my lineups, I want to be like, oh, hey, he's really good. I want to put him in. He's going to score a lot. And can I tell anyone out there that Ladd McConkey is really a better play weekly than Devontae Smith? I can't. Zay Flowers, I can't. And I know he has the upside. He has that built-in pedigree from this past offseason that everybody loves him. So he has that built in to where those other guys don't. But do I think weekly he's a better play than Jalen Waddle? No, I don't. And so for his price, I'm saying goodbye to him. I love the guy. I think he's awesome. But he's had, 1 or 2 weeks to where he's been really good. And the other weeks he's been extremely average. And that's pretty much every wide receiver you talk about in that tier. That's who they are. Like, he isn't special in that tier right now. Maybe he will be after Keenan Allen goes. So next offseason, you could worry about it then. But all those guys could have something happen as well that also helps their value.
Throw on the first challenge flag tonight, JB.
Okay, let's hear it.
So I think, Mitch, I get what you're saying, but I also think this is Dynasty. And if we take a little close look in, I don't think Keenan Allen's really the factor anymore. I think it's a combination of Aronde Gadsden and the O-line. And he came off a limited week where he was a little bit banged up, because before this week, he had 4 good weeks in a row, had that slow start. All right, Keenan Allen was producing a bit earlier. Now Trey Harris is getting into the mix there. He's the one taking Keenan Allen snaps, not so much the ball's going certain guys' way. But I think McConkey's too talented, and I think this team is going to fix this O-line. Little short-term Band-Aid in there with Penning, who they got in a trade today. By next year, they get everybody healthy. And I think we'd be wishing we have Ladd McConkey, because I think he's a little bit better than some of those guys you named. Now, to your point, the gap is close now. It's comparable. But, I mean, don't you still want Ladd McConkey on your roster and take more of those good weeks than those down weeks?
I do. My problem is he's wide receiver 16, and the guys I'm talking about are closer to wide receiver 30. And so, yeah, I mean, I do prefer Ladd McConkey over those guys, but I don't think I prefer him 14 spots more than those guys.
But 6 weeks, he's 16, despite having 3 bad weeks where the team was kind of going through some challenges there. We had a little cute Quentin Johnson phase. I think there's a little bit of matchup specific thing, but there's so much volume in that passing game. Ooh,
but if they fix that offensive line, are we still going to see that huge volume?
I think so.
Yeah, I don't know. I love Ladd. That's the thing, is like you were on him first. I bought a whole bunch of shares this past offseason, so I have a lot of him. But it's just, can I go out right now and pay that price when I could pay a little bit more and get up to the Igbukas, that world? I would much rather do that.
That is fair.
John.
I'm pulling up something really quick.
Oh, okay.
And I want to see. No,
does Mark Andrews with Jayden Daniels get Drake May? I got some tight end.
I don't know why.
Why
Why would they want Mark Andrews if their team's as bad as you indicated?
For next year? It's a nice player. They could trade him.
Why would they want Mark? Why would they want Mark Andrews? Come on, man.
This is chess, not checkers. You got to think two steps ahead. He could trade it.
You're not even playing with a board and pieces, man.
He's getting Jayden Daniels, man. He's not. I'm not giving him like,
Yeah, no, that's not going to work, Dan.
Dan's like, this is chess, not checkers. Then he's like, do you have any 2s? Go fish. Anyway, what I wanted to look up was because Dan mentioned the offensive line woes there in Los Angeles. And my thought was, well, the running game, obviously not as great right now. Amari and Hampton, let's get back out there. But do we need to get rid of the ball quicker? Do we need lower A dot? Dan's playing Jenga. Do we need to get rid of the ball quicker? So I was like, okay, maybe the shift here between the first 5 weeks and these last 4 weeks from Quentin Johnston coming down, Ladd McConkey going up, his A dot's actually, Justin Herbert, his A dot's been higher these last 4 weeks. So it really didn't tie into what I expected.
It's because Gadsden's the real stud in that offense. Dude's awesome.
But like, once you think, okay, maybe we have an offense figured out, offensive line goes down. Star running back goes down. Star tight end emerges. Quentin Johnston, he does become that pumpkin again, even though he found the end zone this past week. But let's get through some Ladd trades very quickly. Oh, no.
I set my counter.
No, you're good.
I'll get back to you.
What was the counter?
I got some young receivers there. So I threw Tez Johnson, Chimere Dike, and a third and a fourth with Daniels for May. It's got a shot.
It's a fine offer. Like, if it was an offer I got in a league, I would be like, reject, but respectfully.
It wouldn't be a 1 second reject. You would at least let it sit for 2 seconds and then you would hit reject. But you wouldn't counter it, right?
No, I wouldn't counter. All right. Ladd McConkey and Justin Herbert. And Mitch, I want to start with you this time. You kind of let Dan go first the last 2 times. So whatever.
They were some tough ones. So I wanted him to answer them first. That's fair.
So Ladd McConkey and Justin Herbert, or Jayden Daniels and a 26 first, 12 team start, 10 full PPR.
Easy McConkey and Herbert for me. Easy.
Not easy for me, but I'll go with the Herbert and McConkey as well.
As of right now, I take Herbert over Daniels, and I would have done that before the injury too.
Ladd and Pickens or Travis Hunter in a pair of 26 firsts. 12 teams start, 11 full PPR.
26. Give me the pair 26 first with Travis Hunter. I could do a lot more than that I can with Pickens.
Mitch and I are vibing right now. I'm on the same page. We're coming back, Mitch.
There we go.
No challenge flags.
Ladd McConkey or Kyron Williams?
Team dependent.
I'll go Ladd. Quorum sneaking in there a little bit. Kyron's still the guy, but
I also lean Ladd here. Big Malik Neighbors trade. Malik Neighbors or Ladd McConkey, Zach Charbonnet, Jordan Addison, and 2/3. 12 teams start, 12 full PPR.
Malik for me.
start 12. I lean Malik, but depending on what your roster needs, like if you really need pieces, you're getting a number 1 receiver, McConkey, a running back that could help you. Addison could help you. I wish it was something a little better than the thirds, like maybe make one of them a second. But so I'll lean Neighbors, but I could see a scenario where you take the package.
I think I slightly prefer the Ladd side there.
In 12-12, I get it. It's just Malik can be that stud that these guys can never be.
Well, it doesn't even matter because clearly it was a mistake because the very next trade, I didn't even look.
I was wondering why there was 2 of them.
Let's send it back.
That's
so there
too
we go.
funny.
Time will never get back. All right, last one to wrap up the show. Ladd McConkey or Xavier Worthy, Cam Scattaboo, and a 26 first, 12 team start 10.
Package.
As long as that's at least like a middle first, I'll go with the package as well.
What if it's late?
Nah, you're right. I still got to go with the package.
I want there to be a trade that comes up here sometime soon that John will have to say that he's going to trade for Cam Scattaboo. because I think it's going to be very hard.
I actually acquired him last week.
No, you
You
didn't. I don't believe it for 1 second.
I have to find it. I'll share it after the show.
We're gonna have to see that, JB.
It was multiple pieces, and I'm not contending. I think the value that I acquired him, I clearly liked it because I made the trade, but I think I could flip him to somebody like Mitch. And possibly
You're playing chess, buddy. You're playing chess. You're thinking 2 moves ahead. That's what I'm talking about.
Hopefully you all enjoyed this week's episode of Dynasty Theory, going through obviously a lot of situations here, some players with quickly changing values. The Kyler Murray, Jacoby Brissett situation surely is an interesting one, especially because it piggybacks off of the value and production of Marvin Harrison and Trey McBride, and then hopefully Trey Benson joins that backfield here sooner rather than later. And then obviously talking about Jayden Daniels and some players there, buy or buy. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Let us know in the comments, where you agree, where you disagree. And I'm sure it's just gonna be people agreeing nonstop, because that's what people like to do on the internet, agree with strangers. For Mitch Sorensen, Dan Lamagna, I'm John Bauer. Catch you next week. Have a great night. Peace.